Hello, everybody. This is Curtis from the Three Angry Nerds podcast, letting you know that we're sponsored by YouTube Music. You may be using Spotify. You may be using other music streaming services, but guess what? They're not as good as YouTube Music, and I'll tell you why. YouTube Music allows you to switch between listening to the music and watching the music video for that song seamlessly. You literally just flip a switch, and you can start watching the video. It's really cool. I was doing this the other day. I was listening to Thriller by Michael Jackson, and I thought, you know what? I want to watch the music video. It's a classic music video. I want to watch it. Flip the switch, watch the video. When I was done with that song, I flipped the switch back to audio only, and I was listening to just the music. That's how great YouTube Music is. It's got all the great features that you expect from a music streaming service, such as the ability to download music for offline play. You can play it in the background. You can actually have it where it doesn't shuffle the music like Spotify does in the free version of Spotify, which I hate because Spotify will just shuffle the music and then you can just lose track of where you are. YouTube Music doesn't do that. And here's the thing. Normally it costs you $9.99 a month. For Three Angry Nerds listeners, you get a special offer of 3 months for 99 cents. That's like less than a cup of coffee. You can try this service out. It's great. There's a lot for it to offer you as a music listener. And like I said, you can just seamlessly switch between the music and the videos, checking them out as you please. I think it's great. You're going to think it's great. Check it out. With that said, let's get on with the show.
There was an idea. Stark knows this. Called the Initiative. The idea was to bring together a group of
physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid
people. See if they could become something more. See if they could work together when we needed them to fight the battles that we never could.
From Vancouver, British Columbia, this is the Three Angry Nerds podcast with your host, Curtis.
Now I'm begging you to shut the fuck up.
Excuse me. And welcome to the Three Angry Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Curtis. Botch that intro. What else is new? With me, as always, Eatin' Toast Ethan. How's it going, Ethan?
I'm alright. Feeling like garbage, as I mentioned before the start. Been in and out of the bathroom, just throwing up my entire contents on my stomach.
What?
But I'm fine. There's good things to talk about this week.
I like binging and purging.
Yeah,
That's not what I needed to hear.
When I talk about Brightburn, I'll give explicit detail of all the horror sequences just to put you on it. You know?
Can't stop me from literally walking away.
We'll just hear doors slam in the background. We'll be like, I guess we know what Ethan's up to. Also with us as always is the amazing Lee. How's it going, Lee?
I'm awake.
That's yes, you're awake. You're here. That's like 90% of the battle right there. Also with us as always, Avalon. How's it going, Avalon?
Woo, it's good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, until we talk about Aladdin, until that comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And joining us, we have a new nerd on the cast. Becc. How's it going, Becc?
I'm good. I'm glad I'm here.
You're gonna be like reviewing some movies for us, which I think is awesome. We got you started on Aladdin, and I think it's fair to say that the movie was a dumpster fire of a movie. But we'll talk about that later.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's all we'll say for now. It was a real interesting movie. Let's get on with the news. The news that matters. First off, Falcon and the Winter Soldier gets a director. I'm blanking on the person's name right now, but they did episodes of Handmaid's Tale and other stuff like that, so they got a pretty good background. Also, Daniel Bruhl and Emily Van Camp are going to reprise their Civil War roles. It's coming August 2020. All right, Ethan, are you excited for this?
Hell yeah. Zemo needs to come back. I wish he would come back in some previous Marvel movie, but this is the best thing that he can get right now. I'm very excited. And Agent 13 deserves the same treatment. Doesn't really get any play in Civil War or in any other movie, really. So
Let's talk about her arc in these movies, because she becomes his romantic interest for one movie, and then he goes back and dates her mom or something, or aunt, and it's like, okay, that's a weird arc for a character. So is she gonna just be like, well, so much for my boyfriend, now he's like going to date my aunt back in like the 40s or something, like weird. Yeah, I want that to be brought up. I want that to be a thing. Like, just bring up that awkwardness. Why not? But yeah, Lee, what do you think of this?
I have no thoughts because I really don't care.
Ooh, fighting words.
hot take. That's a hot take. You
So
don't
you're
care about Bucky, don't you?
I really don't. I actually, so that's my big thing. Like especially with Bucky, I always felt that centering the story on him like brought all those movies down. I didn't want to see a lot of those movies because they kept focusing on Bucky, and I don't care about Bucky. Cap needs to move on. Get new friends.
I think he did move on. Like last time we saw him, he wasn't the same Cap. You've seen him before. Yeah. Avalon, Becc, you guys got any thoughts on this?
No.
No.
That's a thing.
Oh, then.
Don't even give a shit.
I think it's cool that they're bringing in the movie characters for these Disney Plus shows. I mean, if anything, it's like that's kind of cool. It's like at least you're gonna show that like there is no discrepancy between the movies and these new shows. Whereas with the old Netflix stuff, it was always like, "Where's Captain America? Oh, he's off somewhere, but we can't mention him or bring him in." So that's kind of awkward. So I kind of like that these new shows are like, "Yeah, no, we can bring these characters in. Why not?" Toy Story 4, we got a second trailer for that. Becc and Avalon, I know you two have seen it for sure because it played in front of Aladdin.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of confusing. I don't know. I just watched it again like just now before, and it's just weird romance going on with maybe I'm not fully caught up. Are Jesse and like Sheriff Woody not supposed to be together?
No, no. Jesse got with Buzz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Real
But okay, I'm just like not caught up then. That's why it was confusing to me because I sensed some romance between Bo
Toy
Peep
Story
and I was
lore.
like, this is weird. But I get it now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Disregard that.
Yeah.
We need Disney to come on and clarify the romantic subplots of the Toy Story movies.
Clearly, that's all I care about.
Which toy is banging which other toy? We need to know. Yeah, I thought the trailer was kind of weird tonally. Like there was the part where they're like, "We'll rush the woman," and then they like just assault this old woman. I was like, "What
Grandma?
the hell?"
Yeah, that was weird.
That was very weird.
They assault an old woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
What are you gonna tell me next? That there's a 15-minute graphic sex scene between all the toys?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
This
Don't
becomes
do that.
sausage party.
This is the
Don't
new
do that.
adult Disney, okay? They can do whatever they want. No, it was so weird. I was watching it, and then all of a sudden, like, they're like, "We're just gonna rush her," and then like they just show the two toys like just jumping into like beating the crap out of this woman. I was like, "What the
That was
hell?"
funny.
Yeah. And then Buzz is like, "We're not doing that." I'm like, "Yeah, I hope not. That would be a very weird movie."
I guess those are like two of the new characters also, those little fuzzy guys.
Yeah,
Little stuffed animals.
or voiced by Key and Peele, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine they're classic comedic relief characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
I
get
liked
those-
like the
What's that?
little like before trailer, the little like teaser trailer one that we used to see at the screeners of just them talking. I thought that one was really funny. I don't know why. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one where they're like to infinity or trying to figure it out, and then Buzz tells them
And your
they're like-
mom? Yeah. I thought that was so funny.
I just love how like they're making these movies more for adults, and I'm like,
Totally.
is this even a
Totally.
kids movie anymore? Like,
Well, I guess it's because like anybody who liked the original Toy Story is growing up, right? So
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to like keep that audience as well.
yeah. I think it's
I don't know. I watched the trailer and I'm a little confused. I'm kind of wondering how the movie's all gonna gel together. Because I'm like, oh, it seems like it's going a little bit more adult than before.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. We watched Penguins and they showed a penguin getting mauled to death and kids were okay. So I guess maybe like the kids of today are like ready for these types of things. I don't know.
My friend's siblings, both 10 years old, went to go see that. And now that you're telling me that there's graphic mauling of penguins, I'm wondering if they're going to start like killing the neighborhood animals tomorrow.
You might want to keep like half an eye on them just in case.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But Ethan, you know what you can keep an eye on? The
What should I
Invisible
keep
Man.
my eyes on? Oh, hell yeah.
Get
Wow,
it? He's invisible. Get it? Terrible. I know.
Wow.
The Invisible Man has a release date, March 13th, 2020. So, yay.
Guys, the Universal Monsters Cinematic Universe is alive and thriving. I'm so excited.
You know what else? What else is important about that day, Ethan?
What? Go ahead.
It's Friday the 13th.
Woo!
Fuck.
So
Yeah.
Fuck. You need to change your pants now, don't you?
I'm just saying, that's pretty good marketing. They could be like, the Invisible Man's coming out Friday the 13th. I'd go see it. I'd go pay to go see it.
Now they eliminated every other possible. What if there was a Friday the 13th reboot that LeBron is trying to do, and they can't take that date now?
I feel like they.
Well, you know what? They can do it.
They can
Everyone's
go
gonna see they're gonna see that instead of the Invisible Man. No one gives a shit about the UMCU.
Yeah. Well, they got the girl from the Wrinkle in Time in it, and obviously she's box office poison. So I don't know. The Storm Reed or whatever her name is. She was in A Wrinkle in Time. She was like,
Okay, I know. Isn't Elizabeth Moss in it?
yes, and she's cool. I dig
Okay.
her work. Yeah.
she's a good actress.
Yeah. She was a handmaid. Now she's dating the Invisible Man. I don't know the plot of this movie. I'm just guessing that they're dating. Like, that's the thing. Something else, release date wise, although this one's a little more controversial. Sonic the Hedgehog pushed back by 3 months to February 14, 2020. Presumably to make Sonic not look like hot garbage.
Okay. This is epic.
Yeah. What do you think of this, Ethan? Is this a little too? What do you think? Bad, good, little in between?
I mentioned that it's a shame that they're gonna make him look good now. I would rather keep the ugly design, because if the movie came out with ugly design Sonic and it's an already ugly movie, it fit right in. Now we're supposedly gonna have a good-looking Sonic in a shitty movie, so that means it's so much worse because it's a good design and it's gonna be wasted. But while they're at it, they can fix other problems on the cutting room floor. Maybe everything will turn out good in the end.
I'm just thinking, like, what if they're taking all this time to fix it and then it doesn't look any better? Like, what if he still just looks bad? That would be terrible. It's like, hey, we're gonna improve Sonic's design. Still looks like garbage. Yeah. Becc, are you excited at all for Sonic the Hedgehog?
I wasn't really into Sonic, so I really don't care.
But did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch the original trailer with the terrible looking Sonic?
I did, and I was like, wow, this looks like shit.
I think they were like, I don't know why the movie makers wanted to like go so hardcore on making Sonic look different when it's like you could have just had him look like he does in the movies or in the games and just keep it like that. Yeah, well, we'll see how it is. I guess I'm like a little like hesitant, like if they thought this design of Sonic would be good, what makes me think that like their redesign will be any good? Like clearly,
Well,
like
in the Twitter picture that they posted, the art of Sonic is wearing a glove.
oh, okay.
It's already a step forward in some people's opinions. I don't care because Sonic sucks regardless.
Wait,
Damn.
are you telling me that Sonic as a character is garbage? It's just
He's
It's a
got to
hot
go
take.
fast. Got to get the Chaos Emeralds, rings, garbage.
Man. I don't know. I also wonder, like, how the hell do you make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? And I think the trailer answered that with a definitive you can't, because this is a character whose the whole thing is just running from one end of a level to another. So trying to make a movie around that is just dumb. But
now Shadow, on the other hand, that's a movie.
I still am hoping that the end of this movie they just have Ugandan Knuckles as like a meme that pops up at the end.
I will show you the way.
It'll be like at the end of Spider-Verse when they had like them embracing that Spider-Man meme. It'll just be embracing the Ugandan Knuckles meme. So, cool. We got 2 movies coming on May 21st, 2021. The question is, which one are you going to go see? John Wick Chapter 4 and Akira are both coming on that date. 2 arguably going to be very good movies. Ethan, which would you go see?
Well, judging from the fact that I saw John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum last night, while somehow managing to keep my stomach down for that long, I managed to see that, and that was freaking epic. So I'd have to say Chapter 4. But Taika Waititi is pretty awesome, and I haven't seen the original anime, but Akira, I hear, is pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, it's a really bonkers anime. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it already. What about you, Avalon? Which would you go see?
Oh, definitely the anime.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've kind of have like a problem with John Wick. I think I've explained this before. I haven't even seen them, so I actually can't say that. But I've just, I know I need to. I'm not even gonna.
This
I'm
is
not
hot.
even
No,
gonna.
this is a hot take. This is cool.
I just.
This
My
is when we
friend.
find out Avalon hates dogs. That's what...
Yeah.
It all comes together now.
You figured me out. Yeah, I mean, kind of. But anyway. You shouldn't have sent me to A Dog's Journey. That just, like, it ruined it for me forever.
Yeah, I think I remember you
going
distinctly
on?
saying, like, I hate all dogs. Why am I watching this?
No, it's not all dogs. It's just, like, the idea of...
Dogs?
Yeah.
Concept of dogs filtered at the brim.
Avalon's watching all dogs go at heaven.
Rage.
Secretly, she's like, good.
No, that's
She
an
hates it
awesome
because they're not
movie.
going to hell.
The fuck?
Yeah, don't even get me started. I would just move on.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd go see the anime for sure.
Okay,
Sounds
cool.
cool.
Yeah. But Taika Waititi, he's made some really good movies. Thor Ragnarok was like just so creative and inventive, and I think it kind of shows like he knows what he's doing with a big budget. So, yeah. Becc, what about you? Which of these would you go see on May 21st?
Definitely Akira, because like I love Taika so much. Like I'm a big fan of his.
I feel like this is box office weekend is already shaping up to be pretty epic. Like just these 2 movies alone are awesome. Lee, I'm guessing you would go see John Wick.
Actually, I'd go see the anime, to be honest.
Ooh,
Guys, come on. John Wick is good. I promise.
I'm sure it is. It's just, it's not.
I'm sure it is, but shut your mouth.
No, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, John Wick's awesome, but like on paper, I guess I don't know. It's not a movie for me.
Wait till
Nice,
you see the 3rd one, then you'll be convinced. You'll be like, "This is."
Third one's good.
I think the 3rd one might be my favorite in the franchise. It's real good. Yeah, I'd go see John Wick Chapter 4. I mean, Akira, I'm a little like, I mean, I'd probably in a way find a way to see both. But if I had to choose between one, I would go watch John Wick Chapter 4 just to see them constantly just go, ooh, the Baba Yaga or whatever. He's a real scary dude, and then he just goes and like fucking throws 5 knives into a dude's head. Yeah,
he did that.
You did that was a thing in that movie. Yeah, we'll see if any of these movies actually move. I think it might be a John Wick Chapter 4 that moves, if I had to take a guess, because there's no way both movies are going to stay on that date. I feel like one of them would move. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood got its 2nd trailer Really fleshes out the movie a bit more. This also was like honestly probably like perfect marketing because they also got some reviews out of Cannes as well, and they were all super positive. So I think it was good timing. If you're gonna put out a trailer for the movie, might as well do it when people are saying this movie is really good. So
Yeah.
Avalon, you're a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I thought it looked really good. I'm really interested in like the Manson family stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this movie, mostly for that reason and also because it's Tarantino, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks pretty good, and I like all the actors. I really like Margot Robbie, so that should be cool too.
Yeah, I like that they do a lot of setup of like this is like there's that shot where it shows how close Leonardo DiCaprio's character is to the Tate's home or whatever. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Also, I just watched it again. I've seen it a few times now, but I noticed that this time. It looked.
Yeah, because I think that was my main thing. Is I was kind of curious, like, how is this going to actually connect to the Manson murders? Because it seemed like this random movie about like stuntmen and all this other stuff. But
I know that's why I was disappointed. Wait, sorry, you go.
They'll have no idea what it's about.
Okay, so it's a movie that's about like the Manson family murders, which is when Charles Manson and his henchmen. Well, actually, he didn't even do it directly, but he influenced his people to like go kill Sharon Tate and a few others. So that's it. But then it's also a movie about Leonardo DiCaprio's actor character, and
like plot wise, I'm like not sure where this is going with everybody.
Yeah, it seems very Pulp Fiction-esque, where there will be like a bunch of storylines and they'll converge at certain points. Okay. So
I thought when I first heard about this movie, I thought that it was like fully just like based on the Manson family stuff, and I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was going to play Charles Manson. Like that's how far out of the loop I was with it, and I was like, "Whoa, that's interesting." But that's clearly not what's happening.
No,
which is fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a good actor. We'll take him.
Yeah, I love him. He's awesome.
Whatever role he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the movie is making Sharon Tate like a character. Like it seems like there's probably going to be some sequences that focus on her as a character, which I think is awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for this movie. If anything, I was like already like pretty excited for it, but it seeing this new trailer and hearing all the buzz out of Cannes, I'm like, yeah, this will be a good one.
Yeah.
Beck, did you watch the trailer at all?
I did.
Yeah, are you excited for this movie?
Yeah. I am. I've got a weird obsession with like serial killers.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do like especially. I'm fascinated by that particular like the Manson gang and all that. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Tarantino does.
Yeah. I think it'll just really be interesting if anything, just to see like what you do with all these intersecting plots. And like I know Tarantino's done it before, but I don't think he's done it in a while. Like what was it? Well, Hateful Eight, I guess, had like a few intersecting storylines that kind of came together. But like Django Unchained was largely focused on Django the whole time, right? So I like that about Tarantino when he does those like intersecting plot points and they all kind of come together. He's so good at it. Like that's what I like to see. Yeah. Lee, did you see the trailer at all?
I did. I feel like a huge idiot for not knowing that it was about the Manson family stuff. Maybe because I wasn't paying attention well enough to watching the trailer. but it looks like
I don't think the movie like really spells it out though.
No.
Like,
yeah.
And that's what I need because I'm not a smart man.
No. You saw Catch 22 and I can't read, so I mean you're clearly just smarter than I am.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, no, it looks great. Like everyone else kind of said, the cast looks amazing. It's Tarantino, so it's I'm excited for it. I'm very, very excited to see how it goes and everything.
I also love that they have the there's that martial arts the person that I think who is it? Bruce Lee? Yeah. I love that they keep like bringing in this weird like Bruce Lee analog. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's just so weird. I don't know how it's all gonna tie in, but I just love that. Another trailer we got was Terminator Dark Fate. That was
yes.
Yeah. What did you guys think of this?
I thought it looked okay. I don't know.
That's a very ringing and dirt. Oh, okay. What about it got you excited?
Girl power. I don't know.
It is a very female-centric movie trailer, so yes, I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I put it on right like before we went on here, and I was like, I'm not gonna like this, but then I didn't mind it. It seemed kind of fun. Sometimes I like action stuff like that. Like I would go see it, maybe for free.
That's the main stipulation. It's like, I'm not gonna go see this unless it's free.
So yeah,
You put that in mind, Paramount, if you want Avalon's non-existent dollars. Yeah, I guess it's interesting in that like this seemingly takes place after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, so it sort of ignores like all the other mismatched movies that have happened in this franchise. Because this franchise has certainly gone downhill. Actually, if anything, there's probably more bad Terminator movies now than good ones. If you think.
And this is
Unfortunately, yeah.
sequel or something like that.
Yeah, it seems like a reboot, requel. Yeah, and Gabriel Luna, his character looks really interesting. It looks like he can become two separate Terminators or something like that. So I don't think that's kind of cool. I was kind of surprised though because almost every Terminator trailer has spoiled the movie, and this one didn't seem to spoil the movie. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, I was expecting some sort of massive spoiler in the movie, or in the trailer, but guess not. Yeah, Lee, what did you think of this trailer?
I'll be honest, I don't remember it. I know I saw it. Unforgettable to me. So that's probably. I mean, that's kind of indicative of how I feel about it. That it didn't really capture anything from me.
No, just was very uninspiring for you.
Yeah, I mean, I might watch it later when it's on like Netflix or Amazon or something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of with was it Avalon that said that you just watch it for free?
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I won't go into theater and probably pay for this.
Yeah. What about you, Ethan? What did you think of this?
I mean, I've never been too hot on the Terminator franchise. I think it's okay. Early ones are the best, I assume. And then I remember I saw like Salvation, like in a hotel room.
Oh yeah,
that was okay.
Salvation was the one where like spoilers for that movie if anyone in this world actually cares, but like they made John Connor a bad Terminator in that movie, and it was really weird. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, that wasn't that one.
Whatever.
That was Genesis.
Oh right, Salvation
you
was.
say that like it means something.
No, so Genesis was the worst one. That was the one with the
Emilia
Daenerys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we all realized that maybe she can't act.
Maybe Game of Thrones was a fluke.
Yeah, that was that one. No, the one that you're talking about, that one's the Christian Bale when he like screamed at the lighting guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Which
that one.
I really didn't like that movie because it just constantly looked so dirty and filthy, and I was like, it really just bugged me. Also, that one also had that one spoiled in the trailer with the whole Sam Worthington being a Terminator. That was yeah. Again, these movies love to spoil themselves in the trailer. I was surprised this one actually showed some restraint. I was like, wow, okay. Becc, did you watch this trailer?
I did.
What'd you think
I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like the franchise has gone downhill, but in saying that, Cameron is on board for this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and the fact that Linda Hamilton is back, that got me excited.
Yeah, very much Halloween 2018 kind of deal, where it's like bring back the old franchise star.
Yeah, so I don't know, it might be okay, but yeah, I probably wouldn't pay money to see it.
I'm gonna take a wager right now and say it'll probably not be as good as the first two Terminator movies, but I'm willing to wager that it'll be better than every other Terminator movie.
Yeah,
is my guess on how this all will land. But Yeah, it's a movie. That's all right.
Oh yeah.
It's a movie.
It's a movie with some Terminators and some just yeah. Speaking of a franchise that should probably just die, Ridley Scott suggests that Disney is looking to evolve the Alien franchise.
Oh Christ!
No.
Yeah,
Shut up.
he even used those words too. He was like, "They're looking to evolve the franchise."
Sound just like him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Did somebody take him out of his retirement home? Is that what happened?
Dementia. Like, what's going on with Alien? He's like, oh yeah, I'm working on Alien too. They're like, what? Yeah.
And his grandkids are like, "Grandpa, get back in the home. You're not supposed to be here."
Do you think when Disney took over Fox, he went into their offices like so ready to make more movies, and they're like, "You're kidding me, Ray? Like, we've seen the last 2 Alien movies you made, and they were not good. Like, no, stay away, Grandpa. We'll give you residuals, and that's it."
Sir, this is an IHOP.
I understand, sir, but would you like some pancakes? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you do with the Alien franchise anymore? You know, like what's left to do with the Alien movies that you could make it interesting? Like, I know people say they want that redone Alien 3 that Neil Blomkamp wanted to do, but I don't know if that would ever happen.
I like Alien 3.
The original Alien 3, you know what? It's got its moments. It's not as good as the first two, but
No.
It's not the garbage pile that is like Resurrection or the AVP movies or anything like that. Those movies just really go downhill.
Resurrection was the fourth one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Resurrection was the fourth.
Is it bad if I actually kind of I have a soft spot for the movie?
Yeah, I see. I like
alright.
the first 4.
I can see why people like it though, because it was like the '90s Alien. You know, like I can see why, because like it was certainly like a generational thing, I think. But
Yeah.
I rewatched that movie and it was not good. I don't like it, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Like, it's cool that I'm sure Disney would be dumb to not do an Alien movie, but I'm just like, well, what do you do with it that isn't these really terrible like prequels that he's been doing, or just more of the same? And I think that's what Ridley Scott was saying in the interviews. He's like, well, we could do more of the same, but like at a certain point, people are not gonna like that either. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like people would prefer that over like all these other weird Prometheus, Alien Covenant movies that are like not really true to the original material and doing weird stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of a losing battle on either side. So yeah. Well, good luck, Ridley Scott. Hopefully you find your way back from the IHOP back to your retirement home. We wish you well.
Jesus.
He's probably listening to this in the retirement home right now, just being like, you know what, they're not that far off.
He doesn't know how to use a computer. What are you talking about?
He probably just has like somebody who works at the retirement home like Google him every so often and just listens to everything that comes up. Yeah. Oh, your dog's found Ridley Scott, so.
Oh yeah, he's here.
He wandered into your backyard.
He wandered, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Westworld season 3. There was a trailer for that. Played during the Game of Thrones series finale. So, yeah, Lee, did you watch this?
No, I haven't seen any of Westworld, so it wouldn't
Neither
make
have
any sense.
Oh wow! So am I the only person here who has seen Westworld?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go for it. Go off, Kurt.
cool. Well, it looked really cool. And they bring in Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, and it looks like they're finally free of the park, so they're in like the actual real world. So that'll be interesting. There's a whole thing about robot revolution in that I'm excited to see. So yay. Something I know Lee can talk about at the very least is Game of Thrones. HBO's director of programming said don't expect a sequel after that series finale. Lee, are you at all surprised? Were you hoping for a sequel?
I was not hoping for a sequel, but I am a little surprised because, and I was listening to another podcast earlier this week talking about like the ending of which I'm sure we will talk about.
Oh, we will
here shortly. And he was saying that like the way that the finale the series ended, it actually left a lot of open-ended stuff for there to be sequels, like either a sequel movie or maybe even like a miniseries or something like that. So them saying like, "Hey, don't expect that," that's a little surprising. Although I mean, they could absolutely change their minds.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if like they would maybe focus on other characters and then have characters from that show up. So that's another way you could do it too. Like
Absolutely.
when you say sequel, I think like, oh, like I'm gonna get like a full dedicated like 8-season thing with those characters again. And it's like I don't know if that's actually gonna ever happen again, but yeah. Well, that's it for that. I guess we can review some movies. Mostly, you know what? It's a real hodgepodge this week. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. It's really all over the place. Let's first talk about Brightburn. So Brightburn is a movie that takes the premise of what happens if alien lands on Earth akin to Superman. Only instead of being a really well-off, well-meaning boy, he's a psychopath who's hell-bent on killing everyone on this planet. And that's the premise of the movie, and you know what? From start to finish, that's what the movie commits to, and I fucking loved it for it. It was so much fun. So there were certainly points where I'm like, they're not going to have this 13-year-old kid, like, melt off someone's face with laser eyes. And then they're like, no, you know what? You've come here to see that. That's what we're giving you. And then there's also, like, just so many points where I was, like, just totally on the edge of my seat. Even as, like, somebody who watches horror quite a bit, there was some really, like, gory stuff in this movie. Stuff that even I was sort of like, what the fuck? Like, I'm surprised the movie, like, took it as far as they did. There's one point where, like, he like, literally brings this truck up into the air and then just drops it, and the guy's head, like, just slams in, and you just see it, the aftermath of that. It's just, like, a mess. And I'm like, the movie just from start to finish is just awesome. But I would say, like, my main complaints about it are that the character work is non-existent. From beginning to end, you know exactly who the characters are, and there's really no arc to them. Even Brandon, the, you know, main character who's, like, this evil kid, I mean, he really is just evil from the outset. Like, don't really set him up as, like, a good kid that's, like, maybe corrupted or anything. He just literally is just bad to the bone. And I'm like, oh, I kind of wish there was a bit more explanation as to why he went bad, and maybe a bit more work into, like, what his arc would be. It would sort of just be like if you watched Akira or Chronicle and, like, the kids are just bad from the start, and you're like, well, you sort of need to lead up to that. But still, like, the effects and all that stuff were really well done, and the acting is pretty fantastic. You've got, like, a whole bunch of really good actors in this as well. So I'm going to give Brightburn a solid 8 out of 10, Uncle Joey's. Check it out. We also saw Aladdin this week. A bunch of us did. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, I got something kind of funny for that. I haven't seen it yet, but I showed my wife. I started showing her the clip of the Prince Ali song on YouTube.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she got 10 seconds in before she told me to turn it off, and that she hated it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Becky, this is your first movie ever reviewing, but what did you think of Aladdin?
Yeah, it happened.
It did. I bet it did.
Yeah, so I think, like, visually, like, the costumes and the sets were great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the characters for me just weren't fleshed out. Like, I think they did a good job with, like, giving Jasmine more of a backstory, but, like, acting wise, with, like, especially with Jafar, it just fell flat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like, there were so many scenes with Jafar where you're just like, dude, you're hamming it up, like.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, it was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I can tell you're trying to be, like, intimidating, but it's just not working at all.
No. Yeah. No.
And I'll give it to Will Smith. Like, at least he did make the genie his own character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, I just saw it was like, all I could see was just Will Smith being himself.
What'd you think of the added subplot with him and, like, the romance with the handmaid or whatever?
It's like, I don't know. I didn't think it was necessary, but I guess it did tie in well with, like, you know, the fact that yeah, spoilers. You know, he becomes human when he gets freed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting with like the giving him the romantic subplot, but I also thought like that's such a 2019 thing to do, to be like, well, we got to give this character a romantic subplot, otherwise people might assume they're gay. It's like, come on, like, gotta give the genie a case of the not gays. Like, no, he's got a girlfriend, guys. Don't worry about it. Can't just have him just doing his thing. No.
Fair. I didn't like with him like how, okay, so obviously like Aladdin was supposed to be awkward with the princess, right?
Yeah.
When he was meeting her as the king or the prince or whatever. And that was funny, I guess. And then they also had to do it with the genie and his romantic interest, as if like every encounter with somebody that you like is like the most awkward experience in the entire world, which is just, it was just a little much. You know what I mean? Like how he was like at the door being really weird, but we'd already like seen that happen with Aladdin. And I was just like, I've seen enough like awkward romantic situations.
Yeah. Not everyone's awkward. God damn it.
Yeah. And like the genie wasn't awkward. So I didn't really get why they did that. It was weird. Anyways, it was a little thing, but lots of things.
There's a lot that was off with this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really visually imaginative. Like, just everything about it was very like vibrant and colorful, and like just visually speaking, like it was a really well done movie in that regard.
Yeah.
Like just in terms of like the set design, the Cave of Wonders, like all that stuff was just super well done.
That's true.
I think it's when people start opening their mouths that this movie just starts to go downhill for me. I really did not like the actor that played Aladdin. Like, I really just did not like him. He was not good in the role. And I could tell, too, that he wasn't singing the songs, too. Like, it really took me out of it that, like, the songs that as they were being sung, his lips were not matching it, and I kept focusing on that, and it became really annoying. Just the whole point of him, like, singing these songs, and the voice is clearly not his. That was really just taking me out of it. Also, some of the CGI in it was pretty terrible, like Sharknado levels of awful. Like, like there was one scene where they go to like a frozen tundra area, and that just looked bad. Like that looked so bad. Even like some of the stuff with like Jafar near the end got pretty bad. Also, did any of you notice the weird like solo song that Jasmine sings in the middle of a dramatic scene? Like,
I left for that and only that. So
oh yeah, right. You
sounds like maybe it was a good time to dip.
Yeah. So there's like this
the Eurovision breakaway hit.
It was so. So for context, there's like a dramatic scene and it sets it up like, oh, you're going to find out more about, like, Jasmine and Jafar and all these other characters. Like, all these main hitters of the story are all in this room. And then all of a sudden, like, everything just stops. And then Jasmine does, like, this, like, top 50 song in the middle of this dramatic scene or whatever. And it's just, like, just awful. And then the song ends and then the scene, like, just resumes as normal. It was such a jarring thing to see. And I was just like... what's the point of this? Like, oh yeah, Avalon, you missed it. I'm really.
I came back right as the scene like faded and like every other character kind of came like back into focus, and I was like, okay, like I don't know. I got the tail end of it. Yeah, exactly. It was like I came back and things were the exact same as they had been when I left.
Yeah. So, all in all, would either of you recommend this movie?
Well, like, I mean, for, like, kids, if they're interested, why not?
Yeah.
I literally thought you
were... was cool. Jasmine was cool. She was, like, I liked how she did a good little leader speech at the end, and her outfits were really cute. So...
That's what's important here.
Important.
You could tell like she was like one of the only like actors in this that was actually an actor. Like she actually had like some acting background. Like,
Yeah.
like
I
I'm
guess
sorry,
that and Will Smith, but
Will Smith's. I don't know. I don't know if Will Smith's an actor, and I think this kind of showed like, yeah, some of it was very cringe, but
yeah.
yeah. I'm not gonna recommend this. I feel like if you really want, you can wait till it's on like Netflix or something. But I also feel like kids might like this. Maybe, I don't know. I'd rather I would say go watch the original with a kid rather than watch this. Like if you want to go show them Aladdin, don't show them this. Just show them the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you gonna rate it, Avalon? What's your score for it?
Oh, 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Savage.
sorry, Aladdin, but yeah.
Sorry, guy who plays Aladdin, but you're probably not going to be acting anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Submit your applications to McDonald's.
Oh,
He's
Jesus.
Canadian.
oh shit. Oh no.
If you look at like he's got like a few credits to his name, but Aladdin you could
Really?
tell was like his big thing. Yeah, like he's got like really like small indie movies and then Aladdin.
Oh.
And I'm like, man.
Yeah, Aladdin was supposed to be his big break, but we just ruined that
It is-
for him.
I would say it is a big break. His break into not doing movies.
Yeah, I'll give it 6 out of 10. I felt like there was some visually interesting stuff in there. And some of the songs were interesting. At least like when they did like the original songs. When they did like that Jasmine song, I didn't like that at all. And yeah, most of the actors suck. I did actually really like Will Smith as the genie though. I thought he was great. And he was like the one thing going into it I was the most concerned about, but he ended up being probably the best part of the movie. Yeah, Becc, what are you going to give this a score of?
Probably a 6 out of 10 as well.
Oh.
Because the visuals saved it for me.
Yeah.
Because I think visually it's nice to look at, but yeah, unfortunately, just the acting is not the best.
Yeah. Condolences to Mena Masood as your career takes a dive after this. Why she actually gets like really good roles after this, I would be surprised, honestly. But yeah. All right, Ethan. Let's talk about When They See Us.
I got some news for you, Kurt.
What?
I have been feeling so shit that I could not subject myself to the subject of this.
Oh no!
Oh, so you
like,
didn't watch it? Oh man.
I did not. I felt like garbage, and I could not watch something about the Central Park 5. And from what I've read, because I did do research on how everyone is enjoying this program, it's tough to watch. So I'm sorry, but I couldn't do it.
Apology accepted. It's okay.
I'll definitely take care of the next one.
Okay. So When They See Us is a 4-part miniseries that focuses on the story of the Central Park 5, which is a case of a wrongful conviction of 4 people who were accused of assaulting and raping a woman. And this miniseries sort of covers like their story, both during the investigation, during their subsequent time in prison, and a little bit more from that. It's actually really good. It's from Ava DuVernay, who I know we kind of shit on her because she made A Wrinkle in Time, and it's not good, but I think it kind of shows that she actually does know what she's doing in this, and I was actually kind of like pleasantly surprised when I watched it. I was like, oh, she actually is a really good director. I think just sometimes she makes things that are outside of her wheelhouse, but no, I was actually really pleasantly surprised with this. It was really well done. The acting was all top notch. The direction was really well done. Just everything from top to bottom was just super well done, super polished. The 4 episodes were probably a little long. I probably could have done with like maybe just 4 hour-long episodes, but they're around like an hour 45 a piece. So they are a little long, but at the end of the day, they are really good. So I would definitely check this out when it is on Netflix here shortly. I think it actually might be, I forget when it actually comes, but I think it's coming relatively soon. So I would definitely check it out. I'm going to give it a good 9 out of 10, Uncle Joey's. It's really good. Yeah. Avalon, you saw Booksmart, a movie you were eagerly anticipating.
Did. Yeah, I didn't even know it was like something that was coming out, but I saw the trailer when it was in the reviews last time, or maybe a bit before that, and it just looked so funny. And it was so funny. I haven't seen like a movie that I was like alone in the theater and I was actually laughing to the point where I was like getting like embarrassed about how much I was laughing.
Can we talk about how you scared another human being after this movie?
Yeah,
because that's more interesting to me.
I was trying to make friends with the other reviewers or the other critics, and this girl had sat in front of me the whole time, and so we were in the elevator, and it like opened up for us to get out, and it had been like really awkward the whole time, and I was like, oh right, like I can speak, like I could actually just like ask her how the movie was. So that's what I did. I was like, how'd you like the movie? And then she just like kind of started like running away from me.
What the fuck?
She was like, it was bad. It was like, it was pretty bad. Like, I don't know, bad. And like, just was getting like kind of angry. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm never doing that again. Like, there goes me ever making the first move to talk to people again. But yeah.
When you told me that, I just laughed.
It was so weird. I was just kind of like in a good mood, and that just like really brought it down. But she told me she thought it had some cliche, like it was too cliche. And I was like totally denying that. I was like, no, it was great. I don't know what you mean. But then I was thinking about it, and there are a lot of cliches. Like one thing that always bugs me in like teenager movies is when they like do over dramatized like drug interactions. Like there's a scene in this where they somehow have accidentally taken drugs because they ate some like strawberries dipped in drugs, and that's the only way they put it, which just doesn't make sense for one. But they always do that in movies, like where there's like a party night, you know, they always do that, and it just like, I didn't like that part. They really took it like way too far. I don't know if you agree with me there. It was like a little weird.
I kind of like secretly love like the whole teenage comedy.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite movies is the Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I just loved like that kind of movie. Yeah. And this movie kind of like really struck me as like that. So I was like kind of blissfully ignorant of it because I was like, you know what, I just love these types of movies where it's like,
me too,
just to sort of like look into like these characters' lives just before, like, to them their lives are ending as they're like leaving school, but you're like, your life's probably gonna get like so much better after this. So
probably, yeah, no, totally. And it brought back weirdly like a lot of nostalgia for me. I guess it was just like this time last year I was graduating high school and I kind of forgot, and it was just so fun to like see them all, like they had so much to do, and like there was a party and then they were like graduating, and it just like brought me back to that, and which is probably what they were trying to do for sure. I mean, like this time of year, so that was fun. I liked that. And the girls were so good. Like Beanie Fieldson and Caitlin Dever were so good. I don't know if they're friends like outside of this movie, but they did such a good job at being like the cutest little girl friendship ever. It was just so fun to watch them, like with their little like jokes and like inside stuff they had going on. It was so funny. Yeah.
I think like I laughed so hard at the scene where they played the porn through the car speakers.
Oh my God, that was so funny. With like their teacher being like the Uber driver.
Yeah.
That was what I've noticed a lot of like movies when they try to add like things from this generation, like technology in, they screw it up so bad and it ends up just being so annoying, and it's like, oh my God, that is so unrelatable because some old person directed it and they don't know. But this one was so funny because that Uber's a thing, and like having like a weird driver that you know, that could totally be a thing. And then like the phone and the speaker and the Bluetooth, that was just funny. because that has happened, like not that exact thing, but like, you know, stuff coming out on the speakers that you don't want anyone else to hear. Like that's funny, and it was relatable, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I know
there's
I've accidentally played porn through public speakers on plenty of occasions.
right, yeah, totally. So yeah, and it was. Oh no, you go.
I was just say, I really enjoyed this movie. I feel like
it was super good.
I can see why people don't like it, because like if you're wanting to go in cynical of like the whole setup of like a teenage comedy, then yeah, it's easy to pick apart. But if you're
I guess so.
If you're willing to give it an open mind, it's a lot of fun.
The like overall like message to it, if there even was one, was nice too. It was like really refreshing that they never brought it back around to how their like studying ended up benefiting them against everyone else who had just been partying. Like they never took it there, and I thought they might at the end, like something would happen that would prove to them that like they were somehow better than everybody else because they put in the effort in school, which like I'm not saying, you know, but anyways, I just liked how they kept everyone pretty equal at the end that way. They were all just kind of the same.
Yeah.
And that was cool. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm excited to watch it again and like show my friends and stuff.
Yeah, we're back. So Avalon, what would you give Booksmart?
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay. I think you gave it less than that before the recording.
Yeah, but then I had time to rethink it, and I'm just gonna go with it.
Also, I secretly love that like the actress that plays Hope in Booksmart is also going to be in Ma. I secretly love that.
Yeah, she seemed funny. I liked her. She was a mean girl, but it was funny.
Yeah, but I think like
that's the mean girl, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But then it ends up like there's like some pretty interesting stuff with her character.
Yeah, I also haven't seen like that. Like a lesbian interest in like a teen movie before, and that was just like interesting because they made it so normal and like fun and like interesting because you just don't see. I just haven't seen that in like a teenager movie before, so that was interesting to watch. And they made like her like scenes, like the hookup scenes there, so funny. I was like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was great. It was like handled so well because it could have just been like super cheesy or like not well done.
Totally.
Yeah, Hollywood doesn't always have the best track record with displaying same-sex relationships.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
it worked out pretty well. Cool. All right, Lee. What the heck is Catch-22? You were trying to explain it to me earlier.
I'm just sad that you don't know this. That's all.
I mean, if it's not Friday the 13th, I tune out right away. Typically.
I mean, that's true. There are no killer people in masks, unfortunately.
Sadly.
Yeah. Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, Catch-22 is based on a book written in like the 40s, I think. A lot of people in the U.S., I think it's like one of those required reading things. But basically, it takes place in World War II. It follows a they're flying their bombers and stuff like that, and it's just the absurdity of everything that's going on. The whole reason what they talk about Catch-22 is that the main character, he wants to go home, but they say you can only go home if you're crazy, and the only way you can be declared crazy if you ask. But if you ask, that means you're sane, so you can't be declared crazy.
Oh, okay. So he's basically trying to like be crazy.
He's trying to like leave and like because he doesn't want to be there anymore because like his friends are all dying and everything. So he's like, I want to get out of here, and they're like, no, you can't.
Okay.
Can never leave. Mostly the plot. So what they did is there's a movie made in the 70s that I don't know if it's good or not because I've never seen it. But basically, George Clooney did a miniseries. He helped produce it, but he also stars in it as one of the characters. And it's like 6 or 7 episodes or something like that. But it's pretty good. They take some creative liberties with the show or with the book, but most of them make sense more for story purposes. Because in the book, it's a lot more like as far as because it jumps around from different characters in the book and different time periods and things like that. And then this particular show keeps it more like linear, so you can actually follow what's going on. Anybody that's read the book, I thought this was a pretty good adaptation. The stuff they changed was pretty minor, but yeah, it's really well done. I think you probably like the humor in it. There's some very absurd stuff that just happens that you're just kind of like, what the heck?
Oh.
It's sad people get killed, especially his friends, and
you're
you're
getting a little cut uppy, staticky.
Oh, I was crying. That's why.
I mean, I get it. George Clooney projects always make me cry too, so I get it.
No, it's very well done. I was gonna say the humor's pretty good in it. There's also, like I said, some emotional scenes. It ends a little bit on the weak side, to be honest.
Okay.
Especially compared to like how the book ends. It's still pretty good. If you haven't read the book, I think you'd like the ending. But if you have read the book, then I think you'd like the show overall.
Cool. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and review the final episode of Game of Thrones, and answer some emails. That stuff.
Hello, listeners. This episode is brought to you by Netflix and ShakerAndSpoon.com. While you're watching Netflix, why don't you create yourself a quality craft cocktail with ShakerAndSpoon.com? How easy is it? It's as easy as this. You get the quality ingredients from ShakerAndSpoon.com. You supply your own alcohol, and then what you can do is you can start making your own craft cocktails. It's as easy as that. And here's the thing. ShakerAndSpoon.com, when you're creating these cocktails, it really makes you look like a top-class bartender, even if you've never created a cocktail in your entire life, because they provide everything for you, including the recipe to create the quality craft cocktails. So the next time you're loading up Netflix, maybe you're watching Queer Eye, maybe you're watching a movie, I don't know. You can do what you want on Netflix. That's the great thing about Netflix. It's all about flexibility, is that you can create your cocktail with ShakerAndSpoon.com, watch your movie or show of choice, and you can just enjoy life the best way you can. All right, with that said, on with the show.
We're back. Lee was just describing the strongest man he knows.
Using very, very non-PC terms.
That's okay. Sometimes there's got to be some room for some non-PC stuff. Like this Game of Thrones series finale, the Iron Throne. The show's done. Thank goodness. We can all move on with our lives. All right, case closed. Bye. Yeah, no. There's probably more to it than that, but yeah, Lee, what did you think of the final episode of Game of Thrones?
It ended. You're right. It was an ending.
Are you sad? Are you mad? Are you like just ambivalent? You don't care?
As I told a friend of mine yesterday, I said I now know how my parents feel. Disappointed.
Jeez.
No, this finale is pretty much, it sums up everything that was kind of wrong with the last season. It was just it was disappointing. I don't want to say it was bad. Like, it wasn't like a terrible ending. Parts of it felt rushed, and parts of it felt like they could have explained more. And I feel like that's kind of like indicative of the entire 8th season of like, they spent way too much time on certain things and not enough time on others. And they just kind of, it's just like hand wave, like some certain things. They're like, okay, we're going to bring this up. And now we're just going to kind of like, oh, that doesn't really work out very well if you think about it. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the biggest problem that I've had.
Yeah, I guess it really felt like really poorly paced in that like there was all spoilers for this episode, but like yeah, you have like the fact that like Daenerys gets taken out pretty early on, and then it's just talking for like the entire rest of the episode. And I'm not saying like I'm necessarily opposed to like exposition and like dialogue scenes, but it just felt so poorly paced, and like how it all was paced was just so boring. Like I ended up like just feeling so fatigued by the end of it. I was just like, really? Like And then
Yeah.
I guess like the stuff at the end where they were like, where Selma was like trying to invent democracy, and they were just like, "Haha, you're funny." No, I thought that was kind of like a little too on the nose, but I don't know. I guess like how it ended was largely like it wasn't too bad. Like it made sense that like they would try to break the wheel like Daenerys wanted to do. So I guess that makes sense. And I did like that like Jon did not have a good ending per se. Like there were consequences for his actions. I did like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, largely it was pretty disappointing. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
just
And oh, sorry. I don't know if you had anything else to say about it.
no. I just like I don't know. I thought like the one thing it did well was wrap up a lot of character story arcs, and I think for like a series finale, like that's a big thing is to like let everyone know where all these characters are at. Like you know where Sansa is, you know where Arya is roughly, you know where Jon is. Like so you sort of leave it with those characters like being in a place where you're like, okay, I guess we understand where they're at now. So
Yeah. I'm okay with that as well. Like the idea that there is some closure to everybody. My biggest issue though is that, and somewhere else that I've heard this, but I've heard comparisons, but I'm going to try to expand on it a little bit. Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother? Did you ever watch that show?
oh yeah.
Were you in the camp that thought the ending was terrible?
No, I didn't mind the ending to that one actually.
Okay. Well, I know like most people like online at least hated it.
Yeah.
But and I really hate it so much, but there are a lot of like similarities I have to Game of Thrones, like which is weird, like a random show with a laugh track, Game of Thrones. But the idea that like I think it's more because was it Benioff and Weiss or whatever it is? They had this idea of like, okay, this is where we need to end up. We need to end, because I'm sure there's been stories out there about how George gave them like, hey, this is where it ends. This is where everyone's going to end up. And you got to make sure that Jon kills her. And then Bran's going to end up on the throne. But I think like they had that in mind, but they didn't know how to get there, and I think they were rushing. They took the worst shortcuts that you could possibly do, like writing wise, to get to that point. Like, I'm cool with a lot of things that happen this especially this season, and even in this last episode, but I don't like how they got there. Like, I'm cool with Daenerys being insane. That's awesome. But like, it feels like it comes out of nowhere, or it's like it's not earned. Same with Jon killing her, or Jon being a complete idiot for most of this episode, and then randomly deciding to kill her. Like, I feel like we earned it. I don't feel like we saw how that happened. Same with was it Drogon burning the throne or destroying the throne? It's awesome, but it makes no sense when you actually watch the scene. Like, why would the dragon care?
Yeah, I was like trying to make sense of like, did he just think that like the chair stabbed her? Like,
that's what I mean. It doesn't make like it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, like, I'm cool with it. It made for a really cool image, but like, I don't get how we got to that point.
Oh, yeah.
It's never good when I have to ask that question. Like, how did we get here? Same with Bran ending up on the throne. Like, why does Tyrion care if Bran's there? Like, yes, they've had interactions in the past, but
because it does, the best story.
Yeah, but I mean that like makes no sense.
Yeah. No.
As far as like, that doesn't mean that he's going to be a good ruler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm ready to say that I think Game of Thrones has been problematic from the beginning. I don't think it's that as great of a show as like a lot of other people like to believe it is. I've always had issues with it, and it has some moments of brilliance, but it also has like a lot of really problematic storytelling elements. And I think this series finale just really reiterated for me, like, there's always been issues with this show. It's not a perfect show. Like, I can tell you of like probably 5-10 other shows that are like better written and have more interesting characters and are more consistently written about. Game of Thrones is not one of them. So yeah, like the end of the day, I wasn't really surprised because I'm like, this is kind of what I've expected from Game of Thrones for so many years. Sure, it's fun. Hey, dragons and drama and tits and wine and all that stuff, cool. But at the end of the day, the show's always had issues, and it's really just reiterated in this final episode. So.
Yeah, I mean, would you still recommend it to people though? Because like I know I would. Like if someone was like, hey, this show was really popular like 5 years ago, like later down the long line, like.
I would say that now that
asking
the
you for your
show
opinion.
is done and people aren't gonna have to like speculate, because I think that's kind of what ruined the show is people's speculation, and people had their own theories, and when it wasn't exactly what people were expecting it to be, that's when people got mad. Since that wouldn't be a factor, since now you can just watch it from start to finish with no wait time in between, I would say, yeah, I would recommend it for sure.
Yeah, same here.
But,
I've seen that a few places, like people saying like, oh, it's like I have to reevaluate if I would like rewatch this series, and I'm like, really?
but that being said, I would still recommend that if you wanted to watch like a better show, you could go watch like Mad Men or something. It's just a better show, but it's still a show you could watch.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, like in the early seasons, you definitely get a lot less of the fantasy stuff, which I think works well. It starts to add a little too much fantasy stuff near the end, but during the beginning, it's pretty good. So, what are you gonna give the final episode a rating of?
The episode itself, I'd probably give about 600 out of 1,000 Uncle Joey's.
Okay, and what about the whole series?
Yeah, it wasn't like. I really love the show, so I'm gonna rate it a little higher, and I'll probably do 900 out of 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, the series is still like really good for me, but you're right. There's some problematic stuff like sprinkled throughout it.
Yeah, I would give this episode like around like a 5 out of 10. It's very middle of the road. And then the entire series, I'd give like a 750 out of 1,000 Uncle Joey's. Yeah, sorry. I like Game of Thrones. I watched it week to week, but I'm also ready for it to be over. Maybe now I can go rewatch Mad Men. Go watch a show that's actually good. I know, terrible. All right.
But do you think we'll see any shows with this level of like enthusiasm among the fandom for like anytime soon?
Of course, there's always shows like that. It's just there's always going to be shows like this, and like ones that become like a social watching experience. As for which show that'll be, I don't know, but there will always be something. I mean, you can even go look at like the series finale of Seinfeld to watch like what that was like, and like to see the social like people like gathering in bars and like in the middle of Times Square just to watch this episode of Seinfeld. Like, it's weird to think about.
Everyone hated.
Yeah, one day I want to do a thing where I like compare Seinfeld to Game of Thrones, because I think there's a lot of comparisons there. Yeah, but yeah, there's always stuff like that. It's just a matter of like what that show will be. I think like the Marvel Disney Plus shows definitely have a good chance of that for sure. All right. Well, let's answer some emails. Remember, you can always email us at mailbag@3angrynerds.com. Maybe you didn't hate the Game of Thrones finale. Maybe you really never want to watch the show ever again. Let us know. Fernando says, nerds, last week you gave advice for people wanting to review movies. I learned a lot. I just started a podcast with my buddy. What should I expect in the first year of podcasting? Also, what's one of your favorite podcast memories, either from this show or others you've been on? Fernando. Oh.
Congrats, Fernando.
Congrats. Expect that your buddy will not be your buddy by the end of it.
I was gonna say, just expect a lot of just scheduling issues.
Yes, that too. Yeah, schedules become a thing.
I'd say don't expect success.
You gotta go into it knowing. You gotta go into it expecting to absolutely fail, so that when you succeed, like you will, Fernando, it's gonna taste all that much sweeter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean that to discourage him at all. It's just, you're not gonna get like 1 million like subscribers, in the first like few months.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've mentioned this before, but like, don't focus on like getting advertising dollars, because you're not going to be in a place where you're going to be getting any decent advertisers anyways. So don't worry about it. Like, I've noticed this with so many podcasts. They'll be like, oh, let's do Patreon, let's do all this other stuff, but like they don't even have themselves established yet, and it's like, I don't know. I think it kind of like reeks of desperation when like any like YouTube channel or podcast is willing to slap like Patreon or something like that on there right away, because you can tell it's like, oh, you're in this for the money, which is kind of like the wrong reason to be doing any kind of podcast. Yeah. Also, I remember when I first started doing the podcast, and like I was doing it with like Alex and Lucas, and it's like definitely looking at it now, like Lucas is on occasionally, but Alex like disappeared off the face of the earth, and like I don't know, it's like the idea of like podcasting with your buddies, like I don't know, it's fine to think that you'll do that, but be prepared that like things may fall apart, and are you prepared?
Right.
Like if that person leaves, are you going to continue it, or are you going to ditch it? Like kind of think ahead like that way too, where it's like, is this something that you want to keep on doing, or is it something that you think is totally dependent on you and your friends doing it? Like something to keep in mind as well. Like, is this project on me, or is it more so something that's on us as a group? So
Great ideas.
yeah, you'll do well. I mean, there's
Got
only
this.
like 5 million podcasts out there right now, right?
Yeah. Welcome back to the Fernando cast. Today we're talking all about Fernandos.
I really remember like the early days of the podcast, we would keep checking like lists to see where we're at, and we kept competing with this one podcast that like was similarly like in the same ranking as us, and it was a guy that would just chat with his cat for like 30 minutes and record it.
That sounds awesome.
How can we can't beat that?
Well, I think we've lapsed him at this point, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, nice.
It'd just be like him being like, so yeah, Mr. Buttersworth, well, like, what do you think of this week of Game of Thrones? And the cat back, and it was just, it was great. Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Don't you
worth it?
worry. Chat Cat is gonna be coming back soon.
We should pay homage to it, bring it back.
Invite him on.
Who, the guy or the cat?
Both.
Would it be really awkward if we emailed him and be like, hey, do you want to come on? And he'd be like, the cat's dead.
Aw.
I feel like that would be really awkward.
So that's a no.
Yeah, so that's a no. Next up is from Tyler. Nerds, so can we all agree that the live-action Disney remakes are simply bad? Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
What? Not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
One is good.
What one's good?
Jungle Book was good.
Oh, that is true. Second
Come on.
No, I
So cynical.
Because I mean, the cartoon was bad. So, I mean,
Yeah, I feel like that one had like a, more room for improvement. Like Aladdin and I don't know, Lion King. Like Lion King, I'm not really optimistic for, but yeah, I would say not all of them, but most of them are pretty bad. Yes, like I did not like Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. Did you guys watch that one at all?
no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I kind of refused to watch it.
I think these ones just suffer from like trying to do the same thing, but then also trying to incorporate other plot elements that just don't jive, because it's like you can't take a story like that and try to like do it one-to-one and then also add your own stuff. It just makes it a mess. But yeah, well, hopefully Lion King is mildly better. If not, well, we still have Marvel. We can always rely on Marvel. All right. That's it for this episode. Movie commentary plugs as always. Mother's Day, that's coming soon. And then the next one, Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. It'll be a wild movie commentary. I'm excited for it, personally. Social media, you can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, AOL Messenger, Nexopia.
Send us all your business requests on LinkedIn.
Yes, please. I would love for us to have a LinkedIn page. I don't even know what people would do with that, or if people would even check that out, but hey, it would be a thing. 3 Angry Nerds, wherever you want to go. And then the other podcast on the network, 3 Angry Gamers, Tremble, the horror movie podcast. Avalon's been on that.
Yeah.
Ethan was on the last couple of episodes, so
I was.
yeah, we had a grand old time talking about some really interesting movies. The Descent and Graveyard Shift.
Nice.
One was better than the other.
Take a wild guess which one was the better one.
Graveyard
Just take
Shift.
one wild guess. You will probably be right.
You'd think that, Lee, but you're dead wrong.
Yep. Dead like all the rats in Graveyard Shift. Nerds in Love, the dating advice show for nerds. Spoiler cast, where we spoil movies. Oh, there hasn't been an episode in a while, mainly because there hasn't been something interesting to spoil. Maybe we might do one for Godzilla. That would be a good one to do one for, but we'll see. And then Culture Court. I guess I don't know what's going on with that. We'll figure it out one of these days. The redheaded stepchild of this network will find a way home. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.